I guess I don't think I can really think of to even speak about. I went into detail on the whole replacement side story thing already. Well, Tyler was finishing watching Will Ferrell get laid. Um, Probably a fundamental misunderstanding of the movie plot, but oh well, wouldn't be anything new for me. Another thing that's really noteworthy is one of the more interesting and unusual things that Cam and I have started doing as I say on downtime. That's kind of a relative term because a decent portion of the things that Cam and I do when we're talking are things that he isn't actually physically playing. It's kind of like me sometimes, like watching all of the replays on Guilty Gear or any other fighting game that has that sort of thing there, which is, well, all of the Arxis games anyway. But a lot of times, a lot of the things that he and I do, or just more or less just like him doing it and me just kind of being there, could pretty much be summed up as Cam coming up with either a silly, a dumb, or a bad idea, and just watching what the hell happens. Usually we're just like letting the AI play it out. Like you might do a Project Cars race where maybe it's like fucking like a multi-class race with like Group C's, NASCARs, Indy cars, and go-karts, and then have them race at like the Indianapolis Oval, where literally like 2 of those 4 categories do not belong there at all. And the Indy cars and the NASCAR should be on the same track either. And then you won't actually play, you'll just watch and see what happens with the AI. More often than not, at least if it were to be that specific group of cars, it'll be the NASCARs fail to slow down when lapping the carts and literally murder them. Or another one that he's done recently is, I mentioned Cam's player Charmin Old Spice earlier in like a Madden franchise. But he doesn't control that player. He just watches the AI simulate the game in real time. And just watches this particular player carry the Detroit Lions. Or another one that he did was make a NFL team, take all of its actual players and replace them with different NFL players who are literally named after the different states of America. And then for each player's position, he only increased the stats of that position that were important. Like, the 3 most important stats, according to some guide he was looking at. Which left his team with a lot of problems. You know. The old joke of putting too many... Yeah, the old joke of putting too many skill points into one part of the tree, and basically being a one-trick pony. So, for example, none of the players on the entire team have any increase to their speed stats, which means that it's almost impossible for passes to be made, because the defending player can always outrun his players. And that's just like one of the many problems. None of them have any awareness either. So like the quarterback will be making passes that are ill-advised at best. But more often than not, whenever Cam engages in in a little bit of trolling, shall we say, he almost always has that as the background. As for the last couple of weeks, he's been reading through a fanfic while I'm around. Like a live, out loud reading of this fanfiction. It's very interesting. It's called Endless Oratorio. And the reason that we're even reading it at all is because it's a fanfic involving the characters from Love Live Sunshine. Except they're not school idols. No, Endless Oratorio is named so for the fictional MMORPG that's basically the center of the plot of fic. It's basically just imagine Love Live, but also Sword Art Online.
Isn't Sword Art Online supposed to be like really screwed up?
I don't know. I just know that in concept, because there are chapters that take place in real life and chapters that take place within the game. With an almost hyperdimension Neptunia style of storytelling when that takes place, where the fanfic is giving detail to what the player characters are doing, and acting as if those player characters are an extension of them, if not literally them. And sometimes it's hard to blur the line between, is this real life or is this fantasy? Which is sort of ironic since it's never real life, but